Hey, beautiful. This is your intuitive consultant and life coach, Avalaura, with another edition of Avalaura Heal My Life podcast. Listen in each week because I'm helping you to heal your life, heal your relationships, learn how to do meaningful work in the world, and make an impact that creates legacy. So go ahead and get your pen and paper, get your favorite drink, and listen in now. This episode of Avalaura Heal My Life is sponsored by Canada's #1 inspiration coach, Maureen Kaylee Verdonk, affectionately known as Coach Mo. She is the founder of Inspired Living Life Coaching, and Coach Mo is passionately helping women say yes to ourselves and experience more success and joy in our lives. Visit Coach Mo at www.mocalleyverdonk.com. That's M-O Cali, C-A-L-E-Y, Verdonk, V-E-R-D-O-N-K, mocalleyverdonk.com, and claim your free audio CD today.
Greetings, beautiful ones. This is Avalaura, your intuitive consultant and life coach, here with another amazing episode of Avalaura Heals. Tune in each week to learn how to heal from whole to wholeness in your life, your relationships, your business, and career. Ladies, this show is for you. So men listening, you can still listen if you want to, but absolutely share this with the women that you love. I'm so excited today. I have another awesome guest, and we're going to be talking about how to heal through belly dance. And as you know, all of my guests are people that I personally know. I know their work. I know what they're about, and I'm only giving you the best. So she is an expert in this field. You're going to, as always, want to get your pen and paper out, take notes, write this down. I'm sure she's going to be giving you some wonderful ahas and things that you might not have considered before. The hashtag for this episode is hashtag Avalaura Heals, hashtag Bellydance Heals. So let me tell you about our phenomenal guest today. Her name is Marie James, and she first got into belly dancing actually because of her own health. Like many black women, she had issues with fibroids, and belly dance helped her to change her health and her lifestyle. She took her first belly dance class in 2006. She began teaching belly dance in 2011, and she's certified in Zumba and yoga. And she's also the owner of Rules Fitness in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, here in the D.C. area. And Rules Fitness is all about making your own rules when it comes to your health. Please join me in welcoming Miss Marie James.
Oh, thank you so much, Avalaura. Thank you for having me on the show.
You are so welcome. I'm happy to have you. And just tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself, anything that you want to share.
Well, I think, as you said in your introduction, that the reason why I even got into belly dancing is because I had my own personal health issue. I had an issue with fibroids. I had that wonderful yearly appointment that we all get with the gynecologist. And while I was laying on that table, the doctor told me, "Oh, you have a fibroid." And I just nearly panicked. And I was like, well, what are we going to do about this situation? And her answer was, "Oh, we'll just take it out when it gets bigger." And I was like, that is not an acceptable answer. So I basically took my health into my own hands, and I started researching everything I could about about fibroids. And one of the things I ran across was belly dance. And amazing enough, I was really shy about that. I was like, belly dancing? Well, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'll change up my eating habits because I wasn't the best eater at the time. I was in pretty good shape. I was exercising, but the fact of the matter was the fibroid was an issue. So I said, belly dance is not for me. I'm not going to do that. But after sharing this issue with a coworker of mine, she said to me, I belly dance, and she was Muslim, covered. And I was like, so you belly dance? So I must have the wrong idea about belly dancing. So I changed my mind, and I actually took a class, and obviously you know what happened. It literally has changed my life. It's transformed me as a person, and also as how I, take control of my own health.
I love that, and I love, there's some really important things about what you said. One was you had a misconception. So you kind of had this limited view about belly dance. You didn't even know what it was, and you were allowing that limited view to influence, whether you did it or not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always tell women when they first come into the studio, well, the first misconception of it is, of course, television and movies have us thinking that, that belly dancers are, not so modest women, and that's not true. That's just how they're reflected in the media. But that's the real origins of the dance. That is not. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of femininity, of being a woman, crossing over, celebration. There's one occasion where women will dance around the bride to conjure up feminine energy so that she can turn it out in the bedroom for her husband. So it's we have a lot of misunderstanding. And then the other thing is that, oh, I can't do this. That's the other thing. And that was mine too. I was like, I got in there and all those women were dancing and moving their bodies in a way. And I was like, I cannot do this. My body doesn't move that way, but it's not true. It's built in every single woman.
Wow. My body doesn't move that way. So what you said is so key in that a lot of times part of the misconception of belly dancing is actually, it's with women, but it's also with men, and thinking that it's something around sex. And, oh, that's so sexy, or yeah, I want women to belly dance for me. When really it's not about sex, but it's about owning and claiming your power as a woman and embracing your femininity, as you said.
Absolutely.
And the other important thing that you said that I think is so key is you said that your body didn't move that way. Why is it that we're finding as women that our bodies aren't moving the way that they were naturally intended to move?
Well, I think that has a lot to do with upbringing and society and images in the media that, I know me personally coming up, good Christian girl, you don't switch. I know tons of mothers that have said to their daughters, stop switching. Child, you need to stop that switching. And you're supposed to sway. You're supposed to switch. We come out of the womb that way, built that way. It's built in us. And it's suppressed. So, and then everyday life, we're trying to, we're going to our jobs, we're doing the 9 to 5. A lot of times we're single mothers, and sometimes single mothers have a tendency to try to take ownership for the lack of the father in the life. So you're taking on more masculine roles, and that suppresses that feminine energy. But that's the reason why I think a lot of women will say when they come in, they're, well, I can't move that way. Because we're programmed to be the opposite because of the things that we do in our lives on a day-to-day basis.
And what do you think that not being able to move that way, my body doesn't move that way, what health problems and what problems does that cause in a woman's life?
So one of the things I know just for me personally that you lose a certain fluidity in your body, you become stagnant. I mean, one of the things, of course, we know fibroids develop. Fibroids develop because you're not moving your pelvis, you're not moving your hips, you're not bending. A lot of us don't do gardening. We don't get out in the weeds of the yard. We're not sitting down, up and down constantly. We're sitting in chairs. We're on the metro. We're in our cars. And that blood circulation is just stagnant. There's no oxygen flow. There's no movement. So, the blood is stagnant. Life is stagnant. And it can cause problems like, fibroids, PMS, other female issues. And so digestion. Belly dancing also helps with digestion. So the things that happen is due because we're not moving. And belly dance is a great way to get that stuff out, get the circulation moving, get the blood flowing, get the joints going, because, it helps with the joints, with your knees and your ankles and your shoulders and every joint, because it moves every part of your body, including the hips.
Wow. So what have you found, for yourself and, and for other women that you've taught belly dance to? What have you found have been, just some of the health benefits and how it's really helped them in their lives? I mean, you can, talk about yourself personally, but maybe there's a few women that you can think about, their stories.
Yeah, I get a lot of women that always say, I couldn't do this before. Now I can move my belly button, or I can bend down now, because when you first start, you may not have the strength to bend. We're doing Mayas and toxins, and you're swerving, and you're going down to the floor. And so women will say, oh, I can do this now. And one of my favorite is there's an isolation on the glutes where you squeeze the right glute separate, left glute separate. And women come in like, how do you do that? But then they'll say, I can do it now. I've been practicing. I can squeeze one at a time instead of all together. And one of the other things is the wrist. A lot of women complain about carpal tunnel. And we're doing hand motions in the class, arm movement, isolation, and now they're able to, move that wrist that had arthritis in it, So those are some of the great stories. And of course, one woman came back and said, my husband noticed something different about me now since I've been taking belly dance.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And how does that help women to just even feel better about themselves?
Yes. Fascinating story. One lady came in, and I'm very adamant about everyone making sure that they can see themselves in the mirror, because part of it is self-acceptance, and that's another great benefit of the dance. It helps you embrace yourself, your body image, right where you are. And the one lady came in, and I remember how many times I had to go over to her and like, no, you got to come back up to the mirror, and look at yourself, look at how you're flowing, because your hip bump is different from mine, but we're doing the same concept, but you may have a shorter hip or a longer torso, or, you adjust it, but you got to look at your body and look and know how to adjust it. And I remember she called me the day after and told me, I thank you for your class, Marie. You made me look at myself and accept my body by forcing me to look in the mirror all throughout the entire class. Because she said she sat out in the parking lot and she just cried. So she was like, that's the first time she looked at herself in a long, long time.
Wow.
So those kind of things, I mean, it's just amazing. So
that is so beautiful. For so many reasons in that, I just think about all the time, as a life coach, and, so many of the issues that I see, with my clients and the women that I work with. And, one of the biggest things that I always teach my clients is that, you teach and train people how to treat you. And if you can't love yourself, if you don't like the way you look in the mirror, why is somebody else going to love you or want to look at you?
Absolutely, yeah. That is very key.
So that is such a powerful healing in being able to see yourself again and accept yourself wherever you are, and not look at the woman next to you, to your right or to your left, and say, oh, well, her body looks better than mine, or, oh, look at her hips, or, oh, look at how she's moving, but to be able to look at yourself and to own you and to just be happy in your own skin.
Yes, your own personal self-acceptance. I love it. That's one of the greatest gifts out of the dance, to love your body right where it is, especially because in this society, it's always, you're supposed to look a certain way according to a certain standard.
Yes, absolutely. And what's so interesting about belly dance is that I have seen some very big women, and I'm talking about like 300-pound women belly dance, and they can move. Like,
yes.
They move way better than me.
Absolutely, and it goes back to the self-love, and that was one of the things that amazed me when I first walked into the dance, and I was like, look at these women 3-4 times the size of me. And, I mean, they were working it and then some. And I was just like, there is something more to this dance. And here I am. I'm walking in there like I can't even move like that. I'm like Susie SquarePants. And I was like, there's something deep about this dance. And obviously, you know, it can transform me because I look at myself because I think, gosh, I was like straight up square. And now I'm moving and I'm flowing. And because I was a straight up tomboy. And I'm like, but now I'm, you know, more in touch with my feminine side. I'm more confident. I accept my body, you know, image right where I'm at. And it's just amazing. And then that dance is deep too. It's spiritual. There's been times where, you know, I was just dragging. I couldn't get out of the bed. But when I walked through the door and taught the class, that dance just, it gets your mind. It just lines your spirit up. And it's something about that dance. Whew.
Wow. That is awesome. And I can feel your passion. You make me want to start belly dancing. I don't even know what to do. So
yes,
for women who, you know, they say, you know what, this is really interesting. This is fascinating. I want to learn more. Like, what's the best way to learn about belly dance, and what's the best first step for them to take?
I think the very first step is to come to my studio. And I only say that because, I mean, there are a lot of belly dancers out there, and there are a lot of things that there are a lot of performers, there are a lot of people that do it for fitness. There's just different styles. But I think I understand, like, for the most part, someone who's never done it, like, I make the place safe for you to come. Like, if you feel awkward, if you have any kind of doubt or insecurities about, I don't know if I should try it, I make the space safe for you to try it and to not have any fear and no judgment. So I would say come try it and know that just, you know, it's going to be a step for you. But I make it very easy, very comfortable, and you'll love it. I mean, even if you feel like afterwards that it wasn't worth it, you'll never be the same after coming in.
Wow. So you will never be the same. And I will absolutely concur that Marie does have a safe space. She's a wonderful space that she has created for women to, you know, just be themselves. And so yes. I can absolutely concur with her with that. But what if they're not in the D.C. area? What can they do?
What can they do? Well, there are a lot of online resources, but if they want to, I have an actual document that will break down the basics of belly dance. And I haven't gotten this on the agenda yet, but I'm working to do some online tutorials so that make it available. Because I was thinking about that as well, how people who may not, and also in the wintertime, you know, people tend not to want to come out in the cold, that this would be available to them so they can learn the basics, how to do a basic shimmy, hip bump, you know, Maya, Toxine. And to make that available. But there are a lot of good resources online for basic movements, and I'll be willing to share that information and some of my favorite sources.
Awesome. Perfect. And definitely I'm going to have you give them your contact information before we finish here. But actually talk about that, because you mentioned that there's a lot of different styles of belly dance, and you actually mentioned some of the moves. So what are some of the different styles, and what are the differences?
So this is kind of how I view it, and this is a very good question here, because I'm actually working on developing a training, because what I have found, people want to get certified in belly dance, and there are a lot of different programs. Some of them require you to be under a certain brand, and then some of the training you don't get credit hours for, like if you have an ASA certification or something of that sort. So I am actually developing something right now, but to go into the different styles, we have Egyptian belly dance, and then you have tribal belly dance, and you have American cabaret, and then you have what do they call it? Oh my goodness, the very favorite one, dance hall. And so basically, I look at belly dance that just like with everything else, there's an origin, and then the dance gets moved into different cultures, and there's different variations and different dialect, or so to speak, not dialect because it's, you know, work, but different genres, so to speak. So you'll have a cultural difference because, belly dance and their customs moved to another area of the world, and so it took on its own development. And then you have American belly dance, where it's more a lot of the tribal stuff, where it's interpretation, where you're dancing to the music of how you feel. Some of it can be, they might consider what you might consider dark movement. That all depends on the music. They'll tend to be dressed in black. And then you have like the cabarets, Egyptian style, where it's more fun and flirty. The dance hall, which is mostly, I think, in the DC area, where you have like the hip hop and the dance style movement. But basically, there is always a common thread between all belly dance moves. There's always hip bump. There's Maya. There's 101 styles of shimmies. There's hand movement. There's hip drops, hip bumps. Oh my goodness, it goes on and on. So there is a wide range of different types of styles.
Wow, that is fascinating. And so is there any particular style that might be a little bit easier or maybe a little less intimidating or even maybe have more healing elements than the other styles?
I think basically all of them have the same element. They all have a healing factor. I think it's just a matter of what your purpose. But I would think probably dance hall, cabaret, and American style belly dance is probably the most basic.
Okay.
Just in my personal reference. There may be other styles that, someone else may say, well, no, I don't think that. I think you're going to run into the same issue no matter what. If someone has never done belly dancing, whether it's tribal, basic, or American or cabaret, they're still going to have that same kind of like hesitation. Mm-hmm. So I will give them a flavor of everything.
Okay.
I try to dab in all of the different genres, and that's one of the reasons why I'll have a different belly dance guests come in because of their different flavors. And one of my favorite is Ep9, which I will have her in January. She's awesome. She is like one of the greatest belly dancers in the world. So, and one of my favorites actually.
I love that. So you actually invite other teachers in to teach their style as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. And so with, the different styles and I love that you said that you kind of dabble in a little bit of all of them so that women can get a flavor of that. What should women look for in a teacher when they decide, okay, I want to learn? Like I said, maybe they're not in the D.C. area, or maybe they get the tutorials, but they also want to take a live class. What should they look for in a teacher?
Someone who takes the time to explain the movement, and someone that gives good examples, kind of like I always liken, like, for example, Maya. I always say, imagine yourself tiptoeing up the steps or tiptoeing around, back in the day when women used to be afraid of mice. They'd go screaming like, tip on their tiptoes and, jump up on their toes. Liking it, giving really good examples, visual examples, so that they can visualize in their mind how their body should be moving. Moving in a figure 8, sway from side to side. One of my other favorites is a hip bump. You know how you have your hands full when you get out of the car? And you got to close that car door. What do? First thing you do, you take that hit, boom.
That's right.
You hit that car door. So I think giving a lot of good visuals to get the woman to understand how the body should be moving, because we do a lot of the movement unconsciously, but when you tell somebody, do a hip bump, then all of a sudden they're like, what's that? Okay, close your car door with your hip. Boom. There you have it. So
I love that because I absolutely got a visual. And ladies, I'm sure you did too, that, you immediately knew what she was talking about. I do that all the time. I have all the groceries and I got to kind of hip bump, close the car door because I'm not trying to make all of these multiple trips and everything. I've done that so many times.
Yes.
So I love that visual, and I never thought of that movement as being, healing or being feminine or being sexy. It was just something that I needed to do.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Now then bring
awesome.
that bump right
so I
into
think
the
that's
studio.
even cool to even see how the elements of dance, how they fit into our everyday life as well.
Yes.
And that's something that lets you know that it's natural. When it's already a part of your everyday life, you're already doing it, just unconsciously, you know that it is something natural. You know that it's something that should be a part of your life because you're already doing it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So in this space, really, you're just taking the time to commit to yourselves, and you're doing it consciously versus unconsciously.
Yes, yes. And
I love that.
Yeah, and one of the great things about that, too, that when you're in my class, that hour is to dedicate to yourself. And one of the I guess, I don't know, natural outcomes of the dance is that when you're in there and you're so intense, you're looking at your body and you're trying to figure out, how do I move it like this? How do I make my hip go? That's all you think about for that whole hour. So that it's almost like a meditational movement because you're not thinking about bills, you're not thinking about your car, you're not thinking about your husband, you're not thinking about your child, you're not thinking about whatever it is in your life that you think about. Your focus is on you that entire time because you're so tied up in your mind, whether it's like, I can't do it, or, okay, do it again, I want to try. Your focus is on yourself. And it's wonderful. That whole hour is nothing but you.
Awesome. That is that soulful self-care that I talk about. You know, that is one way to absolutely take some time out for yourself, to focus just on you and to focus on your body and listening, because that's something that you haven't said, but I can only imagine, is that it really helps you to listen to your body again and be in tune with what your body wants and what your body needs.
Yes, yes.
You know, oftentimes I'll find women, like, we don't even know our cues anymore. Like, we don't know when we're hungry. We don't know when we're thirsty. You know, we don't know when we're just tired and you just need to relax and lay down because we're so used to, well, I got to get this done, so I don't have time. You know, I don't have time to eat right now. I got to work, or I don't have time. I'm in this meeting, or whatever it is. And so you get used to kind of tuning your body out and not listening. But taking that hour, that actually gives you that space to listen again, to be in your body, and so you can start to listen again.
Yes. Yes. One of the things that I often see and women see when they realize, you know what, I don't sit up as straight as I thought I did. I thought my back is not always upright. My shoulders aren't always relaxed, you know, because the dance requires correct posture. And so I will make you conscious of that throughout the entire dance. And no humping over the shoulders, the round the shoulders back and the chest lifted. So that's the other thing, too. It's amazing how often I'll say, straighten the back, lift the chest. Because we're slouched over, we're hunched over.
Yes, yes. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot more fun than going to my chiropractor.
Oh, my goodness.
I can only imagine. Wow, that's awesome. You know, ladies, I'm sure you have learned so much. I hope that you have written some of these things down. If not, you know, this is on demand, so you can go back and listen to this again and again and again and again. Marie, any closing thoughts?
I think this is definitely a dance that every woman should try at least once in their life, just because it's in us. It's in every single one of us. It will definitely change. If you stick with the dance, it will definitely change your life, as it has done for me personally. I only wish that I had done it sooner. But, you know, everything happens for reason and for purpose, I should say. And just take charge of your own health, no matter what it is. I mean, belly dancing, there's always other venues, and I always say that to people. You know, if you're not doing belly dance, do something. Take charge of your health. Belly dance is my favorite, and it's what I do, but I offer other things, too, because we're creatures of habit. We get bored. So I provide yoga, I provide Zumba, and I do alternative workshops, not just within my realm, chakra dance, soap aerobics. I'm doing a twerk workshop. So I don't stay within the bounds. I try to bring a little variety because there may be something you want to try and never have the guts to do it. So I'll bring it to the studio so we can do it together in a sacred space.
Awesome. Yes, and Marie and I have actually worked together as well,
Yes.
where, with Crown by Avalaura head wraps. And so she does include so many different types of healing modalities, techniques, workshops. So it definitely is a space that if you're here in the D.C. area that you definitely want to check out, whether it's Bellydance or one of these other workshops, because one of the things as women that's so important, and it's certainly something that I've always worked to create for my clients, is a safe space. Is a safe space for you to just be who you are.
Yeah. So important.
So thank you so much for that. How can our listeners contact you? How can they visit you, find out more information, attend your classes or workshops?
Yes. So, of course, I have a website, Rules Fitness. That's RULZ Fitness.com. My address is 14450 Old Mill Road in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. For those of you that are familiar, I'm right around the corner from the courthouse off of Main Street. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Meetup. I'm on Twitter. I am on Snapchat. So all
on everything.
Yeah, I'm on the. For you local people, if you don't know about the Patch, I'm on thepatch.com. That's an Upper Marlboro thing. And those are the different venues you can reach me. My email address is bellydance@rulesfitness.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marie. And thank you all so much for listening. I really hope that, my goal with this show is to introduce you to different aspects of healing in ways that you haven't thought of before. So I hope today that you really learned something new. And as always, I always have an intention for you. I hope that you had an intention for yourself, and that remember that it's not just your intention, but actually impact. And so you take this information and you put it in action. You use it. So even if it's not with Marie, wherever you might be, I know this is an international audience, so you can be anywhere around the world. So even if you just, you go online and you tap into the tutorials, you find it on YouTube, I don't care, wherever it might be, but you actually say, let me try this belly dance thing. Let me just try it for myself. Yeah. So I hope that you take it in action and be intentional with it. And so when you're belly dancing, think about what it is that you want for yourself. Is it self-acceptance? Is it to love yourself? Is it to just be in your own body? Is it self-care? Is it maybe you have fibroids, right? Or you have some other, some other health problems. Whatever it might be, try it and be intentional with it. So this has been another edition of Avalaura Heals. Come on back next Sunday for more. Until then, wishing you peace, love, and bountiful blessings.
This episode of Avalaura Heal My Life is sponsored by Beads by Mamimdi, which specializes in designing beautiful jewelry using authentic crystals. Crystals have been known and used for many years for their metaphysical properties, aiding individuals in achieving success, well-being, and spiritual growth and development. Order your beautiful crystal jewelry with a personalized touch today on Instagram at beads, BEADS _by BY _Mamimdi, MIMINDIE. Hey, beautiful. Thank you for listening to another edition of Avalaura Heal My Life podcast. Join me each and every week to move from whole to wholeness in your life, your relationships, your business, and your career. And if now is the time for you to embrace all that you are for your most incredible life, go ahead and email me today at avalaura@avalaura.com for your own personal consultation. And while you're at it, I'm Googleicious, so you can find more information about me online. Go to my website at avalaura.com and join my mailing list.